Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking storms across the plains all the way up to the Midwest this afternoon. The biggest hazard that you're going to see here is going to be that wind hazard. Other than that, what we're watching for is that big hurricane that's getting even bigger out in the Atlantic. Now, it's a Category 2 right now. Let's take a look at your weather headlines today. Plains state storms. Yes, that is what we have today with a high wind expected. That's going to be your main hazard today. Hurricane Erin, it was a Cat 5. Now we're seeing that slowly go down in intensity, but it's getting larger. So that storm is expanding as it goes up into the higher latitudes. We're going to see that continue to expand. Now there's several areas behind Erin that we have to keep an eye on. We're watching for two areas of significance that could turn into our next named storm. And we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. We have a lot of hurricane graphics today. Over the last 24 hours, it wasn't terribly impressive. We were watching Chicago to see if you guys could get any storms. And while you got a lot of storms, your storm reports were few and far between. Not a ton of wind reports, not a ton of hail reports, if any, in Chicago as well. We had a few storms down in Houston, but really your hail sat right in the South Dakota area, Kansas as well, and even a few hail reports in Oklahoma. Actually, a few surprise hail reports in Oklahoma where we got ping pong ball size hail yesterday in Oklahoma. That is not what we expected at all. We expected more of those larger hailstones to be up to the north, and we got them up there as well. Alrighty, moving on, let's talk about your storms right now. Pretty quiet right now across the U.S. We do have several areas for storms today. One between Kansas and Oklahoma. There's your plains storms, right? And then this extends all the way up into the Midwest. This will be your main area for storms today, with high winds being the biggest hazard. But then we've got another area farther out to the west with another high wind risk. Tomorrow, we go up to the north. Wednesday afternoon, another round of storms in North Dakota. It's a pretty isolated risk, not going to impact too much of the U.S. up there. But by Thursday, we return to your favorite time, your favorite spot this time of the year, North and South Dakota and portions of Minnesota. It feels like we have had a risk in this area just over and over and over the last few weeks. So we return right back to this spot on Thursday. Let's talk about what we're watching for across the U.S. We've got two areas that I want to point out here. We've got a high pressure system that's weakening across the eastern portion of the U.S. Now, there's not a very well-defined high pressure system here. We've got a surface high that's trying to form out in Virginia, and then we've also got a surface high that's just sitting and lingering over Louisiana. The second portion of this forecast that I want to talk about is this high pressure system that is strengthening over portions of Colorado and really going to set up across the four corners right here. This is going to help temperatures to warm up across the west coast over the next few days, and we'll get into that here in just a few minutes. But really what I want you to see is this hurricane that's churning out in the Atlantic right now. You can see it at the very bottom right-hand corner of your screen. This high pressure system, as weak as it is right now, is still going to help to push that storm out into the sea and not let it get any closer to the U.S. That's great news. We saw that northerly turn yesterday. Now it's going to hug the East Coast as it continues to track to the north, and we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Pretty quiet across the Northeast right now. Our New England states are pretty quiet. We've got some tropical watches and warnings ongoing across North Carolina and Virginia right now. Other than that, we've got a few spotty showers in that area, but overall it is pretty quiet. We've got a few spotty showers just south of Kansas City as well, cooling us down up there. That's so nice. 85 right now in Kansas City compared to your 93 in Oklahoma City, 98 in Dallas. Yeah, it's a toasty one for a lot of us across the U.S. Your hail risk today, I'm going to skip right over these graphics. It's very, very low. A low hail risk today. Just moving right on past these graphics. No significant hail expected today. You know, I have not had to use this graphic right here in a while. Usually we have some area in the country that should get some sort of hail. Not today. I am not impressed with the hail risk today. Now we will have some strong winds, 60, 65, maybe up to 70 mile per hour wind speeds expected anywhere from Oklahoma City to Fayetteville, Memphis up to St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. A lot of us today expecting showers and storms with some strong wind speeds. We can even add Montana into that risk, where from Missoula all the way to the Great Falls, we could have another few spotty showers and storms with some strong winds. Your tornado risk today, very similar to that hail risk, no significant tornado risk this afternoon. So let's talk about your timeline. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, and then we're going to get to that hurricane forecast. All right, we've got a line of storms. You can see it lining up right here, anywhere from Ohio all the way through Missouri into Arkansas and Oklahoma. Zooming in a little bit here and going state by state for your timeline today, because a lot of you are saying even though there's no hail risk, we still want to get outside and enjoy the afternoon, right? Well, it's this line of storms right here that's coming from south of KC just to the east of Wichita that's going to slowly expand into more widespread scattered showers and storms through this afternoon and evening hours. Storm timeline for places like Oklahoma City all the way into Fayetteville up to St. Louis and Cincinnati, I would say between about 3 and 6 o'clock this evening. As we head into the late evening hours, most of us will see those storms start to weaken or diminish. Maybe a few sprinkles could linger around, but for the most part, we're going to be severe clear by dinner time, maybe shortly thereafter. One more time, watching these storms roll through the cities. We'll go up to the Midwest. Anyone watching from Ohio today? We always have a few questions about Ohio, and I'm not quite sure why, but for some reason, people are always curious about that forecast. Yeah, comment where you're watching from today. Are you guys watching from an area that could get strong to severe storms, or are you really watching for that hurricane forecast? Well, let's get into it. Yeah, we have a flooding risk today, especially on the East Coast from some of the outer bands of that hurricane that will start to bring us more showers and storms right along the East Coast, mainly for portions of North Carolina and Virginia. It's not going to impact too much of the U.S. here. However, I do want to talk about the impacts. All right, it's a Category 2 right now. Erin still churning off in the Atlantic just to the east of Florida right now. 961 millibar storm. Now what that means is that pressure is slowly climbing. It's getting higher and higher each day, and that means that the storm is weakening. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. We've got a pretty slow movement. I would say at this point, an average movement would be about 12 to 15 miles an hour, and we're sitting at 9 miles an hour moving to the northwest. Now, for this to stay away from the U.S., we need more of a northerly turn. That northwest turn is going to inch it closer and closer and closer to the U.S. Wind speeds right now at 105 miles an hour. This time yesterday, it was at 140 miles an hour. So we have seen a significant decrease in the strength of this storm. Continuing to move up to the north now as we go into the next few days. Wednesday morning, this storm is just about parallel with the central portion of Florida. We're going to continue to see this move to the north and west as we head into the later portion on Wednesday, but thankfully, it takes a northeasterly turn, moving away from the East Coast as we head into the later portion of Wednesday and into early Thursday. Now, the cone of uncertainty is what I'm showing you right here. The cone of uncertainty shows you where we think the center of the storm will be. That does not include all of the outer rain bands that could be hitting off the coast of North Carolina and places like Virginia. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a few minutes. But yes, we have that Category 2 hurricane decreasing to a Category 1 hurricane, and then finally a tropical depression or post-tropical cyclone as it heads farther up into the north into some colder waters and higher latitudes. Now I'm going to get into the other areas that we need to keep an eye on, but I want to first talk about some of those strong tropical storm force winds that are possible in places like Norfolk, places like Virginia, places like North Carolina. Let me tell you the most likely time of arrival of these winds. Really Thursday morning is whenever you're going to start to feel those stronger wind speeds. Thursday afternoon, you're definitely going to feel those stronger wind speeds, but that will be over by Thursday, late on Thursday, if not by Friday morning. Let's take a look. We're looking at Hatteras Island right here, an area that has been on the news quite often because of its susceptibility to not only those strong winds. We've got a 24% chance for strong wind speeds. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but that could still be pretty significant. 30, 40, 50 mile per hour sustained winds for a long period of time. On top of that, we have high waves, really tall waves, a lot of rain coming in here as well. We've already in some of these areas gotten over 4 inches of rain, and we're expecting another 1 to 1.5 inches of rain over the next few days. So any rain that comes down will increase that flooding risk. So all of this is cause for, all of this is cause for several watches and warnings to be issued here. We have a flash flood warning highlighted there in red. We have a tropical storm warning as well, and we have tropical storm watch as you go farther up the east coast into places like Virginia. Any weather questions before we move on here? John's saying no weather questions. Well, I want to talk about why this is happening. So let's zoom out. Let's talk about that high pressure system that I highlighted at the very beginning of the forecast, trying to set up over the four corners. Now this high pressure system, it's going to repel this storm. We've also got a cold front that's moving through the Carolinas right now. That's also going to help to push this storm back out to sea. This storm will continue to track up to the north and then off to the northeast, just in between the high pressure system out in the Atlantic and the high pressure system that's sitting across the U.S. Unfortunately, we're still feeling the impacts of this high pressure system. We're feeling the heat. We're feeling that humidity. Anytime we get a high pressure system to set up over the U.S., have you guys heard of the heat dome? You probably hear that on the news quite often. The ring of fire. You hear that on the news as well. These are just nicknames for this high pressure system that's basically going to lock in that heat, and it's going to keep it hot for us over the next few days. But thankfully, it helps to push that storm back out into the ocean. It turns it up to the north and then back east, back down to the northeast as we go throughout the next few days and into the work week. There you go. Let's go back to our hurricane map and let's talk about the next two areas that are behind Hurricane Erin. Oh, I forgot to talk about the shear. Yes, we've got some shear trying to move into this storm right here, kind of coming from the northwest. Yeah, that's also going to help to weaken the storm. Hurricanes don't like shear. You want hail, you want shear. You want a hurricane, you don't want shear. There's your spaghetti plots. I feel like we've shown this graphic. We can move right past this. Okay, now let's go to those next two areas that we're watching for our next tropical cyclone formation. We have one area highlighted in orange just behind Erin. Now what we're watching for here, and I want to actually go back a little bit. Yeah, there you go. I want to show you this orange area first. Okay. So right now we have a tropical wave that's continuing to track to the west. It's not impressive right now. However, the closer and closer it gets to some of these islands, it's going to get into some warm water. It's going to get into some low sheared areas, and that's going to really help for it to intensify. So over the next 2 days, we're not expecting a ton out of this storm. We are expecting this to be our next tropical cyclone in the next about 5 days. I'd give it about 5 to 7 days. By Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to hear a lot more about this one right here as it gets into this area that's favorable for tropical cyclone formation. We've got another area to watch as well. Let's go back farther to the east now, just off the coast of Africa. This is our next invest 99L. Now basically what an invest means is that we're interested in this area right here. So we're sending hurricane hunters out to this area to gather data. Right now, invest 99L does not have an impressive pressure, about 1010, not impressive at all. However, it's an area of interest that could turn into that next tropical cyclone. So let's take a look at our names right now. Whatever the next named storm will be Fernand. After that, we've got Gabrielle. After that, we've got Humberto. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Imelda, Jerry, and Karen are all on our list as well. Hail Trace. Hail Trace expects that we are still going to have about at least at minimum 7 more named storms. So that means that we're going to get all the way up to at least Lorenzo this year. Let's take a look at our 2025 hurricane forecast. Our named storms on average are at 14. So usually every single year we have about 14 named storms. 7 of those are hurricanes. 3 of those are major hurricanes. Last year we overperformed. We were a little above average. And this year we expect to be above average as well. This year we expect 12 to 17 named storms, 6 to 10 of those to be hurricanes, and 2 to 3 of those to be major hurricanes. Now let me just remind you that Erin is the first hurricane of the season, and it was also a major hurricane. We got to Cat 5, very, very impressive there. So we're expecting at least 5 more hurricanes this season. This is pretty normal. Usually we have a slow start to the season, And then as we get into the middle of August, we really start to see those numbers go up, and then we start to slow down in the early portion of October. And there's your hurricane forecast. A little recap for your storm forecast today. We have those storms across Oklahoma and all the way into the Midwest. Oh, we've got pictures. Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, John. Hey, let's go back. You guys remember whenever I was talking about invest? Let it go back. It's thinking. Aha, okay, there we go. All right, Invest 99L. What this means is that we're sending hurricane hunters out to this area. I actually want to show you hurricane hunter footage from the last few days as it's been in Erin. Take a look at this right here. All right, this is pretty impressive. There's those hurricane hunter planes right there. They were leaving, I think this is from August 16th or 17th. There they go, taking off. I've got some info from them right here. They're saying that they have ongoing non-stop flights. So we have at least one hurricane hunter plane out at all times. That's very, very impressive. Now take a look at this video in the eye of the hurricane. You can see that in the eye itself, we have bright blue, clear skies, pretty calm conditions as well. But give us just a minute for these hurricane hunters to go into the eye, into the eye wall, and you're going to see the visibility drop. You're going to see the winds pick up. You're going to see the rain coming down. You can also, if you look very, very closely, you can see the spin of those clouds around the hurricane hunter plane. Give it just a minute to go into the eye wall. And I wish that you guys could hear the audio. Go to our Facebook or our YouTube pages, and you can hear the audio from this video as well. We're going to wait this out. I want to watch the hurricane hunters go into the eye wall here. And while we do that, put your questions, put your comments in the comments section. Here we go. All right, there they go into the eye wall. You're going to see a drastic, very, very quick change of conditions. We go from those bright blue, clear skies. You can start to see even some lightning. Very low visibility. There goes the raindrops. They're flying past the hurricane hunters, not only because of the strong wind, but also the speed of that plane. That's whenever it gets really turbulent inside the plane. And we actually have some really cool videos that we're posting later on today that show how turbulent it can get. And it jostles those hurricane hunters around. It jostles all of their things, their backpacks, their water bottles around as well. And we'll post those pictures later on this afternoon. So make sure that you follow us for more of that video. Really, really cool stuff. Alrighty, let's get back to your inland forecast. I know it's not as impressive as your hurricane forecast. We have a low risk for high wind today. 60-65 mile per hour wind speeds are likely. Maybe very isolated 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Wednesday, very isolated area for strong to severe storms in the northern portion of the U.S., North Dakota. By Thursday, we move a little bit to the east, going into North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, and that is your severe risk from now until Thursday. Let's fast forward here. You guys want to talk about temperatures? It's been hot it's been hot for basically everyone. Look at that, 10 degrees above average for St. Louis all the way down to Dallas. Very, very warm across Minnesota and Denver today. Do we see a cool down coming? Yes. Thankfully, temperatures are cooling down from the mid to upper 90s into maybe the 80s. Ooh, look at that. Tomorrow we get a little bit cooler, and I think that this cool down is going to extend all the way into the end of August. We're going to get a taste of fall just in time for football season here. August 24th through the 28th, it looks like temperatures have a really, really good chance to be cooler than normal. Now, I'm not talking about cold temperatures, so everyone who wants to grab the hoodies, not yet. I'm talking about temperatures below normal. So if your normal for this time of the year is at 90 degrees, you have a really good chance for highs to be in the mid 80s. That's really, really nice, especially for August. We'll take it, right? No complaints here. We also have a really good chance to get some rain out on the west coast, which will mitigate our fire danger. We love to see that. All right, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. Hit that follow button for more weather forecast and really cool videos. We have more Hurricane Hunter videos coming this afternoon. And of course, follow us for all weather updates. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you're interested in a hail, wind, or tornado map, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. We have more info on the hurricane. We saw it get intensified to a Category 5 hurricane this weekend. We have a blog written about that on our website, so head over to hailtrace.com for more information. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here for your forecast, same time.